Hello, my name is Don and welcome to episode 41 of Follow my Football Manager Let's Play with Rangers. Before we get into this episode, please make sure you watch tomorrow's episode. There's going to be some information regarding this series and the channel going forward, at least in the short term. It's quite important that you see that, so I just want to get out there at the start of this video so that people know that there will be, it'll probably be towards the end of tomorrow's video, but it's just so that you know what's happening, because there will be various things happening with the channel out with my control. Since the last game when we played Schalke, it's been a phenomenal run. We beat Aberdeen 7-2 at Pittodrie. They scored 2 own goals. I actually feel the Shinnie one was unlucky. He stuck out a foot to stop a cross getting to Zach Rudden and it went in. The O'Connor one was a shot from Luis Navarro. For me, it robbed Luis Navarro of his first goal for the club, but he made up for that by scoring later on in the game. We also played 25 minutes of this game with Wayne Rooney in goal. I made all 3 of my subs, and having made all 3 of my subs, about 2 minutes later, Wojciech Szczesny got injured. So Wayne Rooney, and to be fair, he almost kept a clean sheet. At the 88th minute was when Rooney conceded. He'd played about 23 minutes or so of football without conceding a goal. 5'10" Cam, but he was my highest goalkeeper rating in the team, so that's why he got the nod. Then we had Celtic at home. We won 3-0. This was one of the most convincing performances we've had. Celtic, if I remember correctly, Celtic played 4-4-2 in this game, and against our formation, yeah, as you see, 4-4-2, so defensive, well, defensive-minded 4-4-2. Barry Mackay missed a penalty as well, because I still haven't changed my penalty taker. That will not be addressed this season. I'll just do that next season. Basically, it was just such a convincing performance. Then we went to Hearts. We're 4-0 up at half time and cruising. Christian Norberg also got his debut in the Celtic game. I should mention that. That's a big thing for the club. With Szczesny's injury, I sort of had the debate of Norberg or Hamilton, and Norberg has impressed a lot in the youth team. I've watched a few of the youth team games. He's impressed me a lot with his performances there. He's developing really nicely. As you see, there's lots of ups, and I said to him a couple of months ago, if his position becomes available, I will give you some first team opportunities. And as you see, a 7.2 against Celtic and a 7.5 against Hearts, so he's came in and he's done well. He's had a clean sheet. He was unlucky with the goal because he came out to collect it and Joe Gomez decided to head it clear straight to Ryan Fraser, who shot and scored, because obviously now Norberg's out of position, not through his fault. But again, it was another very good comprehensive performance. So that means the league table looks like so. We have now closed the gap of goal difference to 5. We're still equal in points with Hibs. I'm not sure how this. Let's have a look at the rules, because matches, rules. So goal difference, goal scored, and then results between teams. Excuse me. So if we look at stages, we have goals for. So if we can close this little gap of 5 goals, we will be top of the league. It's going to be intense. We already have Champions League football secured on the basis of qualifiers, because remember, the first team goes into the group stages direct now, and the second team goes into some qualifier. I'll see if I can find that for you right now. Europe. Competitions, nation coefficient, qualification places. Let's have a look at that. So yeah, so we get one in the best qualifying third group phase, which I imagine will be one of the tougher qualification sets to go through, because you've got a team from Russia, you've got a team from Portugal, Ukraine, Turkey, Netherlands, Belgium, and Greece there, as well as Scotland. So that will be one of the tougher group stage, tougher qualifying stages to go through. Hopefully we can go through it. It would be nice if we could go through it, but at the same time, I'd rather just win the league, get the automatic qualification spot, and get the 10 million guaranteed, because it's such a huge thing. We also have 3 places still into the Europa League next season, so I think we've actually gained a qualification place as well as gaining a Champions League place. So that is all positive stuff for the nation. In fact, if I remember rightly, previously we were here, like 16th or something. before we moved up to 12. So yeah, 3. So, but they're all at better stages, and again, 1 direct into the group stage. So this is very, very good for our national coefficients, and it's very good for the league going forward, which will help with the reputation of the league, which will help attract better players, because Rangers already have a very good reputation. The other thing is Celtic they're downright abysmal, to be honest. Since Steve Clark came in, they've been playing 4-4-2, and it isn't working with the players they have. They've struggled. They were struggling under Brendan Rodgers, to be fair, previously as well. Other than that, there's nothing more to cover other than to get into this game against Kilmarnock. They are bottom of the league. A nice big win would be beneficial for us to close that gap to Hibs. I will go select my team, and I'll see you in the match. Okay, so we're back. The other thing I meant to say is tactically I changed the striker back to an advanced forward. I felt, after hindsight of the last sort of episode, I felt the complete forward was maybe a reason why all our attacking players were struggling. And we've scored 17 goals or something like that in the 3 games since changing. Sorry, not 17. 15 goals since changing that. So it's probably been a good thing. Even though that hasn't affected the striker too much, I feel it's benefiting our overall attacking play. So it might just be better for my tactic. I've made 2 changes from the last game. Michael Devlin comes in for Ali Muzturk, just a fitness change, and Nkadu returns for Sam Nicholson. Again, it was just a fitness change. Sam Nicholson's been absolutely phenomenal in this little run, but his fitness was just a bit lower than what I would have liked, so I brought in Nkadu. Posibon, as well, comes in from run, again, just a standard fitness change. We need a big win here, so I'm just going to go with that. That'll do. And we will skip that little intro thing. Navarro's also been sensational since coming in. I'm very impressed with how he's been, and long may it continue. Greg Taylor, a player I tried to sign a number of times. That injury sort of put me off. The injury had, I think it was a couple of years ago now, put me off going for him after that. I could probably still get him for a couple of million, but we've got so many good young left backs and Leighton Baines there that I don't think it is worth it. But anyone that's starting a save, and you need certain young, and you just want young players, come and look at Kilmarnock. They've got a good few of them. Greg Taylor is one of them, and that is god awful from, who was that? Barry Mackay. Very uncharacteristic of Barry Mackay, but that was awful. Absolutely awful. Can't blame Norberg too much there. He did get a hand to it, maybe could have pushed it around the post, but the mistake was Mackay's. We are not playing well here at all, so I'm just going to give a aggressive, show some passion, see if we can motivate the players up a little bit. It's a bit strange to have scored so many goals in the last 3 games and then go away to the team that's bottom of the league, struggling and losing and going by the possession stats, getting absolutely dominated. Navarro, Nkadu, it's done well. Georges Kevin Nkadu, and he's shot. Jamie McDonald saves. Milner nicks it in the midfield. Ravel Morrison takes it from Navarro onto Posibon. Not sure where he was going there, but he's got a penalty for it. Barry Mackay's going to take this because I've still not changed my penalty taker. And he's missed a few this season, Barry Mackay. I really should have changed it. But it's getting so late in the season, I'm just going to wait until next season now. And I kept forgetting. I've got a note set for the end of the season to set a note for the transfer, for the end of the transfer window to sort that. So hopefully in future it won't be an issue. But he has scored this one. We're back level terms. He's made amends for his previous mistake with no mistake with the penalty. Scored against his old team, of course. Barry Mackay signed from Kilmarnock when he was still a youth player at Kilmarnock and became a youth player at Rangers and sort of broke through. And he's done very well since then, particularly since Mark Warburton came in. Hibs are winning 3-0, so this is not good for us. Again, I'm just going to aggressively try and rail them up a little bit. because this is not an acceptable performance. They do have a very good manager, Kilmarnock, in this game. They've got Tommy Wright, who's a manager who I rate very highly in real life. He's done a very, very good job with St Johnstone in real life in the last few years. And a manager who, when people say to me, if Mark Warburton was to go from Rangers, who would I like to see replace him? And Tommy Wright's the only person I will ever say, because I think he's just done that good a job at Kilmarnock, St Johnstone, and deserves a shot at a bigger club, or a club with a bigger budget. Bringing on Rossiter for Milner, just again a fitness change, and I'm going to do the exact same with Lourenco and Navarro. Wayne Rooney's injured as well, so that's why he's not on the bench, which is a bit frustrating, but you live with it. And I'm going to bring Pozzebon off for Zach Runn, who's been very good against Kilmarnock in the past. It seems they've got a player injured, so they're bringing him off as well. I'm going to give it another few minutes, see if we get a goal, and then I'm going to go into overload if we don't. Lourenco doing good here. He's hit it straight at the keeper. Done so well to get an angle to shoot as well. I thought he was actually going to go a bit further and cross it across, but he didn't. Give it 5 more minutes, I think. Yeah, here we go, overload time. See if we can nick a goal towards the end of this game. Georges Kevin Nkadu, Ravel Morrison, Bruno Lourenco. Good challenge, but it falls to Ravel Morrison. Oh, that's beautiful. What a finish that is, by the way. Scored one like that. I think it might have been against Hearts in the last game. It was just so beautiful, and it's just such a delicate touch just to lift it like that, just get it out of the keeper's reach, and then to come back down into the bottom corner, well, just above the bottom corner. But we've recovered this. We're now 2-1 up, so we're back on goal difference situation with Hibs, so that's at least a positive. Although Hibs were winning 3-0 the last time it popped up in the right hand corner that I seen. Run, oh, just chest that down, son. You've got the pace and acceleration that you could have just jumped and chested that down instead of trying to nod it onto yourself. Very difficult trait to just nod it on when the ball's coming at that kind of pace. He's done okay there, but unfortunately couldn't get to the second ball. Midfield were sleeping and not paying attention. Nkadu. Lourenco. It's a lovely ball into Zach Runn. Yes, get in. 3-1. Runn also has our goals record in a season already this season. Joey Garner, I think, had 29 in a season previously, and Zach Runn's now over 30 this year. You had a lot of interest snooping around him earlier in the season. That's sort of dipped off now. It seems to be Pozzebon that's got that interest in him, after Pozzebon had a rich vein of form a little bit earlier in the season. Never done enough to impress me to drop Rudd in though, but it's done enough that a few teams that were maybe watching Run have switched their interest, maybe think they'll get Pozzebon a bit cheaper, which is probably correct actually, because I probably wouldn't sell Run for under his minimum release clause, to be honest, just because of what he brings to the club, and the fact that he is also a homegrown player. He's under 21, so you don't have to register him for Europe for at least another couple of years, but when I do, he meets all the requirements, so there's a lot of reason to keep a lad like Zach Runn at the club, and for that his sale price for me is higher than it would be if he was, say, 22 of the same ability with same potential, or however good Zach Runn will be at 22, and say he was Italian and just joined the club. I don't think he would have had the same kind of sale value because of the homegrown rules in Europe and everything. And I think you see that in England in real life as well, with English players. The price that teams pay for an English player compared to what they would pay for, say, a French player is astronomical, because of these English clubs need these English players for their squads for Europe. It's Nkadu again. Can we get another one? It's just wide. Another one would have been very helpful. It's difficult closing a gap, but it was quite a big gap earlier on in the season. Obviously, we've had a rich vein of form recently, which has helped close the gap quite a lot. I'm not sure there was much in that free kick, to be honest, but seems like this is just going to be one of those really, really, really long, pointless highlights. And we will obviously have to play Hibs again. I can't remember if we played them twice at Easter Road or twice at Ibrox. I suspect we've played them twice at Ibrox, which means we have to go to Easter Road and win, which is not something I remember doing very often in this save. Should we want to win the league outright on points, because I don't see the way they're playing. I don't see them dropping many points. I went and watched a Partick Thistle game that they played. Roddy McCrory is obviously on loan there, so it was a bit of dual interest of getting to watch him and see how Hibs were getting on. At that time we still had a game in hand and we were level on points with them if they lost. So I was quite keen to go and see how Roddy got on, and they sort of scraped a victory in that game. 6-0. Just 6-0 Hibs. Just a 6-0. Okay, so we've reduced the damage to that, but we're now back to 9 goal difference behind. That's a sore one. We'll just quickly go through all this. All my loan reports. I'll go through all that later so you don't have to see it. And the split fixture should now be released. So I guess what I'm going to do, we'll have to bring back for the Hibs game. We just have to. Okay, so I'm going to play the Partick Thistle game off camera, and then we're going to play the Hibs game on camera, and then we'll play the Hearts and Hamilton game off camera and play the Celtic game on camera and do the end of season review next episode. I want to get everything into the next episode. I'm sorry it will be longer. I will explain reasons why for that in the next episode. But that is it for this episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, a like and subscribe is always appreciated, and I'll hopefully catch you all next time.